Hi everyone, it's Jen again. Hope you had a good week. My week has been pretty productive. Last night I was just trying to make an Android export for the first time, and I did run into a few hiccups. It's a fairly straightforward process, but I thought I would just walk through it with you guys for anybody who's looking to maybe export to Android. If you happen to run into the same kind of quirks that I did, that maybe it'll be a little bit faster solution for you. Let me just go ahead and do this real quick. So here's my project. This is the most recent version of Renpy 8.4.1. If I click on the Android option, it gives me an option to see what my project is going to look like if I emulate it. Really loud sound, we're just going to turn that down. Everything seemed like it was working fine, so that was good. I'm going to close that. You can see how it's going to look on tablet and etc. Now, the first time that you go to select the Android option, it's going to have you download a package. I think it's called RAPT or something like that to start. When you click on this, these options to build, package, and install are going to be grayed out. You're not going to be able to select these. The generate keys and the configure is also going to be grayed out. You're going to have to install this SDK. What this SDK is basically, I've already installed it. It's basically the Java SDK development package, and so if you don't have it installed, which you probably don't, and you might actually have a different version than what Renpy needs, it's going to send you to this website, but I would just say, don't do any of that first. Don't do what I did. Don't try to download whatever link it sends you to, because it's going to bring you to the most recent version of the Java SDK, and that wasn't compatible with Renpy from what I could put together. You're going to want version 21. So SDK, Java SDK 21. If you already have Java installed, or if you did try to install the most recent version, uninstall all that. Because if you try to just change the version to 21, Renpy didn't seem to like that either. So I would just, to save yourself any headache, unless it's attached to something else that you really need, I just went ahead and uninstalled all Java stuff and reinstalled Java 21. And that's what solved that problem for me. After you install the Java SDK 21, you're going to have to go and make a path for it. So how you do this in Windows is if you go to your search thing and you search for Advanced System Settings, it's going to bring up this tab for System Properties. And you're going to want to hit this environmental variables. Okay, and then you're going to want to add this. When you go to add a new, it's going to ask you for a variable name, and you want that variable name to be Java_home, all capitalizations. And then it's going to want you to fill in the variable value, and that's going to be wherever your Java JDK, sorry, not SDK, JDK 21 is. Wherever that folder directory is. And then you're going to hit OK, and you're going to hit OK. And then when you try to build the SDK, it should be able to find the Java JDK 21. And then once that's installed, it should give you the option to generate keys and configure. So generate key is pretty straightforward. You're just going to click on that. It was pretty straightforward. Same with configure. You're just going to give your package a name, a version, whatever. I ended up just putting in Instead of my URL with itch.io, I just kind of like went ahead and replaced any slashes with like dots. But, you know, that is also pretty straightforward. The main thing for me was installing the SDK, getting that part to work. And then when you build your package, the last thing that I could suggest doing is when you get that little icon on your phone and you get the loading screen, it's going to be a default like Renpy thing. So if you want to have your own custom icon and you want to have your own custom loading screen, you can go into the main game directory. So I'm sorry, I said that in a confusing way. The game folder without going inside the game titled folder. So the game that I'm trying to export is called Allele. So in that main folder, you can just make your Android icon _ background.png, Android icon _ foreground.png, and you can make an Android downloading.jpg and a Android pre-splash.jpg to have your own customized artwork for the icons and for the loading and for the pre-loading kind of screens. Hope that helps. I don't know if it was just me, but that SDK with the Java JDK issue ended up being a pretty simple solve, but for whatever reason, I had to dig through a lot of things to find out what it was like not liking about the way that I was installing the Java JDK. The first major issue being with needed to be the -21 version, and then the other major issue was that I had to fully uninstall the other versions and then install the Java 21 version for it to work for me. All right. That's all I got this week, I think. I'm going to try my hand at like making some YouTube shorts with a little bit of gameplay because I'm kind of excited about the vertical format. Oh yeah, that is another thing, that when you go to build your package, your Android package, it will ask you what orientation you want to have your game in. So it's going to default at landscape, but for my particular project, because I was making it specifically for phones with the dimensions of 1080 by 1920, yeah, you can set that for portrait. And some of the advantages of exporting to the Android APK is pretty easy to install. You just download it and then you just try to open it, and it'll ask for permission to install, and then once it installs, it's just on your phone, and then you don't have to be online to play it. For any of your players that might be using a VPN or don't have limited access to like itch.io for whatever reasons, this will allow them to just like download the game once, and then they won't have to be like online or using their VPN past that in order to access your game. My game, I'm trying to make it pretty asset light. It's still, I think, around 150 megabytes as an install package, and it does lag on certain connections when it's loading the artwork. I would say that it lags a little bit on touch input as well on the web version. It's a lot smoother experience on the downloaded APK version. Okay, now I'm done. Hope this helps. If it doesn't help, I'm sorry. Maybe I have a doppelganger out there somewhere. Maybe doppelganger isn't the right word. Maybe I have a clone out there somewhere in the world who, for whatever reason, ran into the same problem I did, thinks the same way I did, had the same weird issue, weird roundabout way of trying to solve it. I did that. Yeah, if I can save that one person the annoyance that I went through, then hopefully this is for you. Okay, take care. Have a good week. As always, don't forget to enjoy the process. Bye now.